Alibaba.com has been helping people all over the world turn their good ideas into great businesses. From starting your own business to international trade, buying and selling globally, Alibaba.com can offer a wealth of knowledge and experience to help you unlock your business potential and make it easy for you to do business anywhere. We spoke to 3 of our customers to see how they grew their ideas into successful businesses, understand where their inspiration came from, the challenges they faced, and what success looks like for them. Fraser Smeaton founded Morph Suits in 2009. Now he sells multicoloured lycra fancy dress costumes in over 20 countries around the world. Rob Forcan set up Gandhi's Flip-Flops in January 2012. Within his first 6 months trading, his products are now stocked in 60 retail outlets around the country. David McLagan founded Tosh with his wife in 2007. He designs high-quality souvenirs which are sold in leading high street department stores.
I guess the idea came from a very simple proposition. That was pretty much every souvenir, every gift that you wanted to buy that reminded you of a place was pretty much Tosh. So that's where the name came from.
I guess when we started our careers, we'd always fancied being entrepreneurs, but we didn't have a good idea, and we also knew we didn't really have any skills, so we went into the usual path of corporate jobs. I met Gregor at university, and we'd always played rugby together, and rugby involves a lot of partying, a few drinks, and a fair bit of fancy dress.
When I was 13, we went on holiday to India. When we came back, our parents asked us if we wanted to leave everything behind. We left the family home that we'd been in for 20 years and just went travelling with no plan. We all had one bag. Whatever we wanted to take, we had to be able to carry it ourselves.
We first came across lycra suits when we were on a boys' weekend in Dublin, and one of my buddies turned up in a sort of similar suit, and we were walking down the main street in Dublin, and the reaction he got was incredible. People stopped watching street theatre to turn around and watch him. People were buying him drinks, hundreds of photos, and we were just like, wow. But at that point, we weren't thinking of it as an idea, we were just thinking of it as something we would want to wear to more stag do's and more weekends away.
Our family told us that we were wrong to move abroad and travel around India, and said that, you'll never learn anything. Our cousins went to Oxford and Cambridge, and we were pulled out of school at 13 and 11. We were always told, you need your education, you need this, you need that.
I suppose my biggest passion always was travel, and when I went to cities and countries around the world, I found that there was nothing really good to remember my trip by. I worked as a creative in the advertising industry for about 18 years. My career had been about building brands for other people, and I suppose I always wanted to see actually how difficult it was to build one for myself. I suppose I always had a passion for wanting to create a business that produced products. I unfortunately knew not much about that, but the learning curve is very steep. You certainly get to know a lot very quickly.
After years of travelling and living in flip-flops, and then with literally all the work that we've been doing in slums and orphanages whilst we were travelling, I was on a train one day and I was reading an article about a flip-flop brand that had started, and within a very short space had sold over 5 million pairs. Gandhi's Flip-Flops came to my mind. It all sort of fell into one. There was no plan, it was just literally no different to our travelling, just seeing what happens and just hoping you land on your feet.
The business is run by myself and my wife. We're equal partners. We decided we didn't need to be in London anymore, so we went for quality of life and headed off to Brighton. It's been a big adjustment from Ali's perspective. She came out of a large corporate environment where she was used to, I suppose, being mollycoddled in a business, and she was on a much steeper learning curve than I was because I'd done it before.
I was in a big corporate world where I had everything at my fingertips. My computer broke down, someone was there to fix it. I had a corporate phone, corporate car, corporate healthcare, everything. And then to move out of that was one of the most challenging things I've ever done, I think. I never envisioned myself as being an entrepreneur. I always thought I would work for someone else because I was safe in that environment. So the transition was extremely difficult for me.
We actually managed to sell more than £1 million worth in the first year. In doing that, we were so tired from coming home from our day jobs and then having to work on what was becoming quite a big business. We had to make a decision between the two, and ultimately we were loving doing Morph Suits. We saw the potential of it, so it was a pretty easy decision. So we all quit our jobs and became full-time in fancy dress. Not many people give up mainstream corporate jobs to go into fancy dress. It's not the usual route, but we were pretty convinced it was the right thing to do. The biggest thing that we actually worry about at that point when we're leaving is the pressure of messing up what is obviously a good idea. There's no pressure when you've got a bad idea, because it's all right, you just write it off, and as long as you've tested it cheaply enough, you can go and have another idea. But when opportunity knocks to make something big, I find it more scary.
I spent the next year researching and refining the product, and in January 2012 formally started the business. Within our first 6 months we've managed to get over 60 stockists within the UK.
We are doing more and more bespoke work with large retailers. We've just finished a very successful range that we did for the Queen's Diamond Jubilee with a large retailer, and we're getting more and more work. We're getting more and more of these customers coming to us asking for bespoke work.
We've now got interest as well from retailers from Sri Lanka to India, South Africa and the United States. Oh, it's a great feeling to walk past the shop and see the Gandhis in the front window, and hopefully we'll have it in the big department store soon too.
I think for me it's very much about a sustainable lifestyle. So spending time with my family, having an income, being able to spend time in Italy with the family.
One of the distinct benefits of what we've done is that I get to see the kids every morning, I get to bath them every night, and I would hope they feel like they know us.
We sell morph suits all around the world. We have websites in 14 countries and we sell to shops in 20 or 30 countries. I think success for us is a three-pronged thing. One, working on a business that we love working on. Two, the lifestyle that it brings us, the fact that last week I was at a trade show in Las Vegas where we could mix a few nights out with days working. And point three, the aim is to make a little bit of money out of this and then ultimately enjoy that.
Coming up in our next episode, we see how Fraser, Rob and David began to grow their businesses and overcome the challenges of selling to retailers while maintaining their profit margins. See how they took their first steps towards manufacturing and their decision to source their products abroad.